Well, for more on this, let's bring in Thandile Chinyavanhu, a climate and energy expert at Greenpeace Africa. She joins us from Johannesburg. Thandile, welcome to the program. Well, first and foremost, does a piecemeal deal signal failure of the discussion?
Good evening, Richard, and thank you so much for having me. I think it definitely does indicate a failure. Anything less than what is required to mitigate that 1.5 degrees Celsius target overshoot is a failure. At this stage in the game, it's too late to be proposing a gradualism. Now is the time for action, and now is the time to implement the necessary measures to move away from fossil fuels and move towards a low carbon economy.
All right. Now, Thandile, I'm trying to wrap my head around why the world is struggling with getting an acceptable deal on climate, yet everyone agrees that something needs to be done urgently. To that, you say what?
Well, it's quite clear that years of anti-climate lobbying by these fossil fuel majors has fooled our world leaders into thinking that they can withstand the heat of climate change, but the opposite is true. So what we want to see is our government prioritizing people, putting people before profit, and allowing for us to move away from fossil fuels. But unfortunately, they seem convinced that an incremental approach to this is the solution, when in fact it is not.
All right, Thandile, I have one more question for you, if you would indulge me. Now, I guess the question that needs to be asked, does the draft capture Africa's agenda?
Well, with the initial draft that was released, the failure there was that there was absolutely no mention of a fossil fuel phase out. And that was one issue that I can speak in terms of for African people was a priority, that our global north countries that have committed to finance follow through with that commitment on the finance that they have pledged with regards to concessional financing, but also follow through with their pledge of reducing their emissions, as the global north countries have a greater share of responsibility in terms of emissions. And that's a commitment that needed to be shown, that they were going to, in addition to asking global south countries such as South Africa to initiate a coal phase-out plan, that they would follow suit as well and also introduce a fossil fuel phase-out plan. But unfortunately, the wording of the document as it has been released now, while it does include a fossil fuel phase-out, is extremely weak and allows a loophole for fossil fuel, for the use of fossil fuels to continue. And this is not a good show of faith from our global north countries. And Africa will definitely be looking to see more commitment from these global north countries towards mitigating climate change.